Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Podcast Named Deferred, where everything is made up and the salary cap doesn't matter. I am your host, Seven. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, my hetero life mate, the sexiest man in Santa Ana. It's Craig Newton. When we last spoke on this show,
yes,
we were less than 24 hours away from the deadline. We had Greg on with us last week from We Don't Know Sports Podcast.
That was
awesome. Amazing guy, good guy. I thought of him when that rainout happened at the Speedway. They had to come back the next day. I wondered if I was wondering if he was going to stick it out, but it looked like he did. But we saw some amazing trades. Got to watch the Speedway game. We might talk about a little bit about that if we got time. We've seen the Yankees free fall faster than a Tom Petty song. And
nice.
Shohei got his 1,000th hit. We got the first female umpire in MLB. Man, we got a lot to talk about today. Key, what's up? Thank you for joining in. We appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. So let's talk about the end of the trade deadline. The Giants were kind of involved in what some thought was going to be one of the bigger and more impactful trades, sending Camilla Duvall to the Yankees, who proceeded the next night to assist with the other two relievers that the Yankees traded for in blowing a 9-4 lead and starting a 6-game skid that ended today. How did you feel about losing Duvall?
I felt quite strongly, I've since calmed down since last week, that we got dilly squat for him. And I still feel that way, but I'll say it with less pronouns and adjectives, and I'll just say that I'm still not happy with that trade. And as far as his performance with the Yankee Stadium, I don't care Major League ballparks or not. That's Yankee Stadium. It's freaking Yankee Stadium. He had to have some serious nerves, and hopefully he got those out of the way, and he'll be fine.
I would hope for his sake that he did. I know that, especially with the change and everything that he went through, with that transition, a short notice, he pitched on Friday night because he was traded on Thursday, pitched Friday night. He has pitched in 3 games since going to the Yankees. Stat-wise, he has a 3.86 ERA, a total of 2.1 innings. Hasn't even pitched a full 3 innings out-wise in those 3 games. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, or 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned run. Hasn't given up a homer, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. You would expect better because, even when you look at where he was at with the Giants this year, I know because he was injured this year, wasn't he? Because he only pitched in like what was it? Oh, I guess he did pitch in a lot of games. 47. Okay. For a second, I thought it was like 4 or 5. I was like, what? I thought he was, but no. He looked about it. ERA was about a point better. So definitely a little bit more productive, if you will. It's going to be. I think it's going to be interesting to watch, see what the Yankees do, because that free fall has just been spectacular to watch. I have not seen Yankees fans go from cloud nine to grabbing torches and pitchforks and trying to cover Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman in pizza grease and pigeon feathers so quickly in a while from just one singular event. It was just spectacular how quickly they changed on him.
Yankees fans do not disappoint when
and
it
they
comes
had the
to,
best they had one of the. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. As a Yankee fans do not disappoint when it comes to expressing their displeasure, be it a player, coach, manager, owner. They always deliver the goods.
Yankees fans are passionate, and I think it's one of the reasons, that commercial that they've been running about MLB Shop, where the guy's sitting there in the Yankees robe and the hat. You can just tell he looks like he has been fired for sexual harassment at least once in the last 2 years. He says that, Yankees gear is so iconic, and it is. It's because they're loud and obnoxious. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Red Sox fan. Well, mostly because I'm a Red Sox fan. But the fact remains. Yankees gear is iconic because we can hear them and usually smell the Italian seasoning and Parmesan cheese coming from a mile away. The Yankees did finally get the win today. They beat the Tigers. I believe it was 3-2 was the score. Where did that go? I just had it in front of me. Yeah, 3-2 was the score. They beat the Tigers Rangers in Texas. Bednar got the save. That was one of the pieces that they traded for at the deadline. We now see when we look at the American League wildcard, and Key, I do see your question. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I know it will give him great joy to talk about the struggles of the Dodgers. When we look at the American League wildcard, the Yankees went from 3 games up to 2.5 back, and only a game and a half ahead of the Guardians and the Rangers for that last wild card slot. The Mariners moved up. They are a half game ahead. Mariners managed to get Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. That's an ALCS lineup for them if I've ever seen one.
Yep.
That was, and I think that's one of the things that hurt the Yankees. Eugenio Suarez at third base makes them a much more competitive team. I know our friend Dan the Dick Warner would probably argue against it, but he's also a LeBron apologist, so kind of take that for what it's worth. But the Yankees are struggling right now, man. Is this something from what you've seen? Is this something that's going to be they're just going to struggle their way into the playoffs? You think they're going to get it right? Are we going to be looking at Cashman and Boone actually getting replaced this year after this offseason finally, despite the fact that we've been predicting it for the last, 3 years? What do you see, man?
Well, reaching for my pitchfork, I say Cashman is gone, Boone is gone, and the way the Yankees are going, there's no looking back. They're going to continue plummeting. I mean, they're just. Sorry, but I don't see them riding this ship.
Do they still make it through the wild card?
Sure, only because they're the Yankees, I'll say yes.
That's fair.
Only reason.
That's kind of where I'm at.
So if I'm wrong, so be it. If I'm right, oh well.
I'll be more disappointed if we're right than if we're wrong.
Right.
But I mean, you think about the way the Yankees team is performing right now, they don't want to see any of these teams in the playoffs. The Astros are their Achilles heels. I think maybe Detroit. Maybe if you see Detroit in the first round, you might make it through to in the wild card round. You might make it through to the divisional round. But realistically, right now they're getting Toronto, and Toronto's just going to beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, they are.
And the Yankees got to figure it out. Because like for Boston right now Boston's facing Seattle in that first round, and I don't want that either, to be honest. Seattle is nasty with that team, especially once they get going. That's nope, hard pass.
Yep.
Hard pass. The trade that shocked me though, and we didn't really get a chance to talk about this in our group chat, but I want to get your input. Boston trades for Dustin May. The Submariner Ginger is now on the Boston Red Sox. Did pitch his first game tonight. It was against the Royals. Only pitched 3 2/3. Gave up 3 runs. He did get the L, even though he gave up 3. I just like, for me, like, I think Jordan Hicks should have the L on this. I understand why it went to May, because when they took May out of the game after 3 2/3, the Royals were up 3-2. But Jordan Hicks, by the way, you guys can take him back. We'll just get a concession stand player to be named, a concession stand worker to be named later. Gave up 3 runs in an inning. And my assessment of him as, being as accurate as Helen Keller at a shooting range is proving to be far more accurate than I would like. Is he the lock into the playoffs, man? Give me some hope here, please.
He should. Yeah, he was good for us. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to him. I mean, it's like they get traded and all of a sudden they can't throw a strike. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
And that's the thing, is like the other night he was in the series that Boston was in. It's not the Royals series because they just finished that series out against the Astros. He came in one night against the Astros, had the bases loaded and got out of it, but can't manage to beat the Royals, or at least keep the Royals from scoring so the offense has a chance to gain some ground. Because at that point, when Dustin May went into the game, they were the Royals, or the Red Sox were 1 run down when Jordan Hicks went into the game. That's it.
Maybe
they lost.
Maybe playing for the Giants, it was friends and family night all the time. It wasn't always sold out. It wasn't ravenous fans, and they go from friends and family to Red Sox fans and Yankees fans, and it has to be one hell of a wake up call and kind of intimidating, I would think.
I would think so. I mean, I don't minimize that. Playing in front of a Boston crowd is not easy, and they've had a lot of home games up to this point. Since they got Hicks, and since with May, he's locked out his first game. No, they were in Fenway for this series. So he's pitched in Fenway before, though, I'm certain. But that's still, I mean, yeah, it's an intimidating crowd. And so we're getting to the time of year where Walker Buehler is going to start locking in. And that makes me feel better because I know he's going to finally, locate the strike zone, which, gives me hope a little bit. And then we can get Dustin May and Jordan Hicks to tighten it up, even just a little bit. Here's the thing. I don't need velocity. I need accuracy. Because 100 miles an hour doesn't matter if Trevor Bauer has a better chance of locating the strike zone than you do. And for those of you that don't know, he currently has an ERA of 6 in Japan. He keeps getting sent down to their minor leagues. That's where Trevor Bauer's at. I was right, by the way. My buddy Brandon from over at Sports Nuts Podcast had me on a few weeks ago. I was right. Chris Sale was shopped. Of course, Alex Anthopoulos did so little at the trade deadline. A couple of people actually called him to make sure he was still alive. He's another GM that I don't think he has a job after the season.
He shouldn't.
But he really shouldn't, because Braves fans deserved better. He spent all that time. The day after I said Chris Sale could get traded, he absolutely was adamant. I am not lying. We are going to make a move soon. We are going to be aggressive. We're going to be buyers at the deadline. Right, Alex Anthopoulos, you are a politician of baseball at this point, because not only did you not buy, you didn't do anything. Were you campaigning for your next position? You're sitting there talking to Steinbrenner about the possibility of taking Cashman's job?
Maybe he meant more hot dogs and popcorn and peanuts,
Maybe he's going to
as far
get
as
Spencer
buying.
Strider's mustache to be a little bit closer to Dennis Eckersley so that he can truly have one of the greatest stashes in the game. Because it's already amazing. Don't get me wrong. But maybe he's just going to get it that much closer. I think that's what he was talking about. A big move. So what do you think? The Dodgers, man, they seems like they hired the Chargers medical staff. Everybody keeps dropping. Sorry, Tyrod
Ouch.
Taylor, if that joke's too soon for you, I apologize.
Ouch.
The Dodgers can handle this, right?
They can buy their way out of any kind of injury, of course. They'll just keep adding on and adding on and adding on to the national deficit of which was known as the Dodgers economy. Yeah.
They got all that Japanese money coming in. As long as they're not counting, as long as they didn't look at those deals and think it's, $1 billion and it's actually just 1,000,000 yen, which is like $100. I think. I don't know. I don't know what the exchange rate is. I'm not an accountant. But I mean, as long as I read that money right, I'll figure it out. But the Dodgers, man, it's where did it go? I had it up in front of me a little bit ago because I thought we might touch on it. Tanner Scott just got put on the IL today. Kike Hernandez is not guaranteed to play again in 2025. Tommy Edman, 10-day. Kirby Yates, 15-day. That's just and Roki Sasaki on the 60-day. So he's working on his way back. That was an August 1st update. He's working his way back. So we may see him in the postseason. But I mean, it's maybe, is it the Dodgers' fault that the pitcher market is so barren because they keep getting him and then getting him injured?
Yes, it is. It is. Those greedy bastards.
Those bastards. That's how they're going to win the World Series, because literally nobody's going to have any pitching. They're just going to acquire them all, get them injured, and put them on the injury list.
I think, remember Major League? Dennis Haysbert played Jobu, or played get Dennis Haysbert. He lived in Hollywood. Go to Dodger Stadium, dress him as Jobu. Get some KFC chicken in a bucket. Stand in pitcher's mound, and sacrifice the KFC chicken to the baseball gods, and maybe those injuries will stop. Probably not.
Oh God, man. Maybe Cleveland should just have them do it, because I mean they're not that far out of contention right now. Maybe they can get lucky. I mean, it's not like they did what Minnesota did and traded 10 or 11 of the 26 guys on their 26-man roster in 24 hours. That is a fire sale. That is from now on. If you're gonna go ahead,
no, go ahead.
Let's say from now on, if you're gonna say that a team's having a fire sale, it's got to meet Minnesota Twins numbers.
Yeah,
to be in that discussion.
How's it be the reporter that goes down to the clubhouse to get Byron Buxton's thoughts on losing 11 players?
Oh.
You know, Byron, your thoughts? What the hell?
I have a couple of people that I follow on Twitter are Twins fans and content creators who do Twin stuff. And one of them, she posted screenshots. She canceled her season tickets because of it. That's how mad some of the Twins fan base is at what happened. But I think they shouldn't lose sight of the fact that I think they went from a very limited team to having one of the most robust farm systems in the league. And a lot of those guys that they got are really close. Next year they're going to have,
but are they going to be able to play? I mean, put them
right
up there. Let's see if they can play.
Well, I'm sure we'll see some in September. I would think we're going to see some of those higher ranked prospects. We'll see in September, and then I think the truth is going to be, what are we going to see out of them? What are we going to see out of them in March when we have spring training? That's when we're going to see how good these trades really are. And it sucks, especially for Twins fans, that you have to wait that long to see how good these trades were. When you give up guys like Correa, where you're still paying part of his contract, even though you overpaid him to begin with. Some of those others, I'm surprised Buxton wasn't traded, honestly, with how much they were trading guys away. I
was too.
After Correa got traded, I was waiting for Buxton's name to come across my notifications list. Honestly.
I just see him in the clubhouse going, any minute now, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Please, 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 please.
Yeah.
Not the Yankees. I mean, that's my impression of Byron Buxton as the trade deadline got closed. I mean, I'm probably right.
And just watching everybody leaving out the clubhouse, and there he was.
Well, I mean, the funniest thing I think out of the deadline, though, was Sir Anthony Dominguez getting traded from the Orioles to the Blue Jays mid-doubleheader.
Yeah.
He had to change clubhouses in between games.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He's walking by guys he was just sitting next to in the game before, waving, and they're busting his chops as he walks to the other dugout.
Yeah.
And to the other bullpen. I think he pitched in that game too. And he pitched in that game too and struck out all three batters he faced.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's a great way to be like, "Ha, you didn't want me? Check this out." It's the Orioles frustrate me, man. There is so much potential on that team. They should be fighting with Boston right now for one of those wild card slots. They should be in the mix right now for one of those 3 wild card slots.
Absolutely.
That was, they did trade Ryan. They did trade O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn. I think it's Hearn. O'Hearn.
You predicted that too.
I did. And they didn't really move as much as I thought they would, because I knew they were going to be sellers, but I thought they would do more. But at the same time, they should have been buyers, man. They should have been doing so well at the deadline that they were buyers.
Yep.
They are probably my biggest disappointment of the year. Realistically, because I thought the Royals might do better, but I certainly didn't have expectation that they were going to be fighting for their division or anything. A lot of people, there were top analysts at the beginning of the year that were saying that the Orioles could contend for the division. So It wasn't just you and I saying it. It was But I don't know.
People that actually respected said it too. Yeah, and not just us.
And Chompin, this is another good point about the Twins. There was so much crap about how the Red Sox approached the Joe Ryan trade. I was frustrated by that because that Friday after the deadline, this last Friday after the deadline, because the game that the Red Sox played was on Apple TV, I listened to the radio call through MLB TV, which, by the way, if you're a baseball fan, MLB TV is worth it. If you don't want to pay for it, do what I did and switch to T-Mobile, you get it for free. That's not an ad, that's a personal plug. But for me, it's like there was so much back and forth. But the guys on the radio broadcast, and I can't remember who it was, one of them, he has a lot of insider knowledge as far as what the Red Sox were looking at. And essentially,
was it Fleming?
His first name is Will Fleming. Is that his name?
Yeah, Will Fleming. He's the
okay.
brother. He's the older brother of Dave Fleming.
Okay,
the Giants broadcaster.
He was on the radio broadcast, and essentially from what he was talking about, and like I said, he's got inner working knowledge.
Yeah.
He knew what was going on. He just can't specifically say certain things. And the way that he was making it sounding, they moved the needle. Minnesota moved the needle. They tried to get more. They tried to get greedy. And Craig Breslow smartly said, nope. Like, I'm talking like it wasn't just, some prospects. They wanted Duran and prospects and money and all of this other stuff. And if that's true, then we need to remember not to put as much on Craig Breslow for this. I get that he kind of looks like a Wish version of Joel Osteen, but I do believe he's trying really hard. No, look at a picture of Craig Breslow and tell me I'm wrong. He looks like a Wish version of Joel Osteen. But when you look at him, you don't just immediately think that's a snake oil salesman that's stealing money from impressionable people. He's stealing it from drunk Boston fans, but that's okay. Nobody cares about that. Anyway, and
now the Christian right will be writing you letters.
I mean, a lot of those ones that are going to be offended by that joke can't write legibly anyway, so I'm not that worried about it.
Oh,
I'm not fair. I'm not afraid of super right Christians. I believe in God, and I still think they're all idiots. But same with the super left, though. I think snowflakes come in many colors. Anyway, back to baseball. The trade deadline was interesting. I didn't think we saw like a super big, because in years past, maybe there's always one trade where you're just like, what? And the closest it comes to that would either be Boston getting Dustin May, which his name wasn't really floated around in a lot of trade rumors. So that one was kind of surprising, or Seattle getting Eugenio Suarez. I think those would be the two biggest surprises out of anything. Other than maybe Atlanta not really doing anything at all. I think a lot of people expected them to be more active. Am I missing one here?
No, I expected Atlanta to do a lot too, and going back to my Giants bashing them again. They didn't even make the list of good or bad trades. They didn't make the list of good or bad. It was so mediocre. They couldn't make the list.
Well, I that's hard to say though, and I think some of that comes from the fact that what little they did do was, you got. I mean, the biggest thing was probably the Duvall trade, where they got Jesus Rodriguez, which he is a highly ranked catcher, Tristan Vierling, infielder Parks Harbor, and then Carlos De La Rosa from the Yankees for Duvall. And then we got Jose Buto, Blade Tidwell, and Drew Gilbert from the Mets for Tyler Rogers and Sean, whatever the hell that last name is, was DFA'd. That's not a lot. But if you get a good backup catcher in Rodriguez, and you get a solid bullpen arm out of Vierling, which I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, that still fills some needs that you guys have, so it's not bad. But it's like the Twins. You've got to wait to see what the results of the trade really are.
Yep.
It's going to be maybe a couple of years before you really know if it was worth it to get rid of Duvall. And that's the frustrating thing about how big how robust the farm systems are in the Major League Baseball is you may not know for a while. Like Wilyer Abreu. I'll use Boston example just because I know this so well. Wilyer Abreu was traded to the Red Sox from the Astros in the trade that sent Christian Vasquez from Boston to Houston. Christian Vasquez, who Minnesota could not give away at the deadline, is hitting 193. Wilyer Abreu, multiple teams called Boston about Wilyer Abreu at the deadline to see if they could do something. But that trade was 2-3 years ago? So it's obviously we got the better end of the deal. It's just, it's like I have too much ADHD to slow cook. I'm going to say that. That's kind of where I'm at with, yes, sometimes the meat is better when you can get it onto a good, nice, steady temperature, throw it on there for like 12 hours, let it come up nice and slow, keep all those juices in, much better flavor. I'm an impatient person. I'll go to McDonald's and get a double quarter pounder. It's fine. Is it going to kill me in the long run? Probably, but that's okay. Yeah, man, that was interesting deadline. Nothing, not as dramatic as in years past, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. I think over the next 3 weeks, we're going to see who teams really are. As far as the teams that are on the bubble, like we look at standings wise, like I said, the Rangers and the Guardians are close on the American League side. And I think the Royals aren't completely out of it. They're only 4 games back, but that's a lot of teams having to lose for them to get into that spot. So chances are slim. And then on the National League side, it's still technically close for the Reds and the Giants at 3 and 5 out. And it's not unfair to think that the Mets are going to collapse even more than they already have. But is it? I mean, National League is a lot more set than the American League. So, but we'll see. Next few weeks are going to be very telling for quite a few teams. Is Toronto legit? You think this is real now?
I think so. They're scary.
That's, and not just when they walk into a Golden Corral with Alejandro Kirk at the front. Like, they are actually a talented. Look, I'm going to make fun of division rivals all day. I don't care. They are a talented team. They are right at the right time. Their bats are doing well. Their pitching is just phenomenal.
Everybody's healthy.
And that's the other thing. And I think that's one of the advantages that they have, because Boston struggled with injury, New York struggled with injury. And that's really helped them, I think, in the grand scheme of things. And plus, they've had a stretch where they've played a lot of teams that have struggled with injury, and it's given them the ability to take advantage, which you play the schedule you're given. So I can't criticize them for that,
Nope.
We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting. The American League playoffs, I think, are going to be interesting, because I think there's quite a bit more parity in the American League than there is in the National League, just because how close everything still is. So I think it's a lot more open than I think some people realize at this point.
If we could peek into New York City, and the headquarters for Major League Baseball, and also the headquarters for the various sponsors, there's a lot of uh, clutching of prayer beads and crosses and whatever, um, praying that the Yankees and the Red Sox get into the playoffs, because that's a lot of money that they're going to lose if
I
they're not on TV.
I think there's some sponsors that want to make sure that they want to see that they get in, because
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. Steve Cohen's
yeah.
not just going to sign all those contracts without his sponsors committing money. And if
Nope.
they don't keep winning, that's going to start coming out of his pocket for real.
Yep.
Now I will say, to the benefit of the Mets in today's game, I think, because they're in a series right now, I believe, against the Guardians, and they lost the game today 4-1, but it was almost a no-hitter. It was a no-hitter into the ninth. There was only 2 outs left, and then Soto hit a home run. That was the only run they scored in the game today. You can't. Realistically, the Guardians are not a playoff team. You should not be
Especially
losing
like a closer. Yeah.
Exactly. And if we get time, we're going to talk about that too, because some more developed in that, and both of their lockers are now cleaned out. So,
Oh boy.
something's interesting coming from that.
Yeah.
Especially since they're both connected with the same allegations. Like,
Yeah.
there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll dive into that one if we get time. But
Okay.
that's just interesting. Could you imagine what would happen if both of the New York baseball teams missed the playoffs?
It will be the equivalent of the stock market crash for baseball, as far as sponsors, viewership, the whole bit. I mean, I'm sorry, other baseball fans out there, but I mean, let's be real. The Yankees, the Red Sox, yeah, sometimes the Mets, they stir the drink of Major League Baseball. They do.
I wonder if both New York teams missing the playoffs would make Rob Manfred's bald spot get just a little bit bigger. Like, we'd see the hairline just go a few rows more back. He just loses a little bit more hair as he gets closer to the deadline. I think that could, as he gets closer to that negotiation, he's going to have to go through with players. By the way, I am still adamant. I forgot to order. I was going to order it today. I'm getting a Bryce Harper jersey. Any person that looks Robert Manfred in the eye and says, "Get the F out of my clubhouse," I'm buying your jersey. Like, I'm going to help pay some of that fine money you're going to get. I'm surprised he can get fined too. I'm really I will say, to Manfred's credit, he could have fined him for that. As the commissioner, he could have fined him for that, and he didn't, at least that I saw.
Just because he's the
So
commissioner
I
doesn't
will
mean
say, to Manfred's credit, he took that on the chin.
Yeah, but just because he's the commissioner doesn't mean he has carte blanche of all clubhouses.
Right, but at the same time, it's just like you're not supposed to disrespect or criticize league officials, officiating, and the league executives. That's against the rules. If you do that, why do you think that's the real reason that Trevor Bauer got axed before he even got convicted of anything? Was because of how critical he was of Manfred in the league. Because there was sketchy stuff about his case even before he got
sketchy. Come on, more than sketchy. It was abuse.
Well, no, I'm not saying. No, I'm talking about the girl's story. Obviously, it was proven in court that she had lied, and there were videos that came out that she had taken where she wasn't bruised, she was fine, and she was overstating her story. But initially, the way it was painted, it was like, obviously the league has to look at this. There has to be accountability if something happened. But normally, with a domestic violence thing, because that's really all that was at the end of the day, domestic violence at best, if he had actually been guilty of that Urias didn't get suspended with pay or without pay before there was any actual proof that he had done anything wrong. They waited until his cases were ruled on. Trevor Bauer openly criticizes the league. He's gone as soon as the shoe drops, before there's even any proof. So it's not above Manfred to handle his adversaries. But to his credit, and I think because it's Bryce Harper's a hell of a lot more luck in the league than Trevor Bauer was. So, I mean, that could have played a part in it, but I'm still getting a Bryce Harper jersey. Shohei Ohtani hit his career 1,000th hit today. A 2-run shot in their game against the who did they play today? The Cardinals. They lost that game 5-3, which I find hilarious. But Shohei's at $1,000, man. I'm going to end up being that guy that seems like they're anti-Shohei when I'm really not. But people need to calm down about Shohei Ohtani. He's not as great as everybody acts like he is. Right now, he's a glorified DH that pitches a long relief session every other week. And people are arguing about him being MVP again. I don't get it.
Got good publicity. He's in freaking Southern California.
The league is pushing it. I know that they are because it's about money. It's Shohei's a cash cow. But you can't tell me that Shohei has had more of an impact on the Dodgers' success this year than PCA has had on the Cubs, or that who was the other one that I was looking at?
Judge.
Well, I mean, Judge is American League. I don't think he deserves it either.
But I mean,
But like, I mean, Schwarber. Realistically, the Phillies are not leading their division without the impact of Kyle Schwarber.
True.
And you can't tell me I'm wrong. No,
you're right.
Schwarber should be more in MVP conversations than Shohei Ohtani at this point.
TCA, I think, is the front runner. I think he's just
he should be.
Where would the Cubs be without him? You know, where would they be?
They wouldn't. And that's the point. Yeah. Like, yes, the Cubs have fallen out of. I'm pretty sure they're out of wild card contention at this point. I've got to look at the standings again. No, they are. They have that. I'm sorry. They have the first wild card slot. They actually they have hold of it by almost 4 games. So, I mean, definitely still in playoff contention. We're going to see the Cubs in the postseason, I believe. But PCA should absolutely have more attention than Shohei Ohtani right now, because he has made more of an impact, and that's what that's supposed to be about.
Yes.
Because if we're just going to give it to the most valuable player every year, then it should be Shohei and Judge, and we're going to go back and we're going to make sure that Patrick Mahomes in the NFL has every MVP since he started in 2019. But that's not right, because he has not been the most valuable player in the league each year, but he has been the most valuable. Last year, we should give it to Travis Kelce, because without his relationship with Taylor Swift, certainly don't sell as many NFL jerseys to women. Let's go give it to Travis Kelce for last year.
Well, let's add Taylor Swift to it too. Let's co-MVPs.
Isn't it easy? Isn't that what she says in her song? Isn't this easy? I don't know. But like, I mean, what do we? It's the MVP is supposed to be about the player who has the most impact on their team's success throughout over the course of the season. Am I right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
You are right.
That's not Judge or Ohtani at this point.
Agreed.
There are players on other teams that have had more of an impact than either one of those two. Yes, Judge is hitting at a phenomenal clip this year. There's more to baseball than hitting.
Yep.
There's fielding. Judge is not the best fielder. Shohei is a decent pitcher, but he's not the best pitcher when he's on. He's not. He's good. And it's unusual for somebody to be good at hitting and good at pitching since Bartolo Colon retired. But we've got, and they are unique talents, but they are not MVPs this year.
I agree. But unfortunately, East Coast doesn't catch the writers on the West Coast, and that it's just
yeah.
It's sad. It's sad, but I mean, Ohtani gets all the spotlight because he's in LA, and Judge gets it because he's in New York, and then you got little old Chicago. Sorry, Cubs fans. Got a great player, but not getting much publicity.
And that's, I mean, like, look at on the Giants. Helio Ramos. Helio Ramos.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Giants aren't even close to a wild card berth, if not for his success this year. His name has not come up once in MVP conversations.
Nor should it.
Like, obviously, there are other better options, but arguably, he's had more of an impact than Shohei. That Dodgers lineup is stacked with hitters and stacked with pitchers. Yep. He is not the best at either on his team on any given day. That's I mean, Shohei didn't do much of anything in the World Series, and they still won.
Yep.
He's great to look at, but he's not the impactful player on the field that they act like he is. And that's I like Shohei. I've got a Funko of Shohei from his time in the Angels. I have dogs also. But I just no. I don't like it. History was made today as Major League Baseball announced that the first female umpire for a professional game, her name is Jen Powell. I think it's Powell, but it's just spelled weird. And she will be umpiring in a game on Saturday. Again, it'd be the Marlins and the Braves. She will work the bases in Saturday's doubleheader at Truist Park, and she will be behind the plate on Sunday.
That's awesome.
I think it's great.
I'm totally in favor of that. I mean, that's awesome. Great for baseball. Great for baseball.
I think it's a little overdue, but there may not be as many women umpires interested in reffing baseball as they would say softball, especially with the Pro Softball League coming or the Women's Pro Baseball League coming. They may not be as interested in umpiring men's baseball as those other sports, but I'm glad that it's happening. I've actually watched a couple of the minor league games that she did, not intentionally, just it happened. She's not a bad umpire. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great. As long as she's better than, as long as she's got better plate vision than CB Buckner or Laz Diaz or Angel Hernandez, I think we'll be all right.
I think she'll be fine.
I think she's going to be fine. As long as she doesn't, like call players for strikes they swung at 2 at-bats ago. I mean, that's really my only concern. Come on, the joke was right there. It's been sitting there the whole time. Come on, I had to make it. But no, let's go back and talk about Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase. Clase was supposed to be a very hot commodity at the deadline, as relievers and closers were definitely very sought after. Pitching was definitely the most frequently traded this year. And it was mainly relievers and closers. Like, there wasn't even a lot of starters that changed hands. There was a few, but it was mainly relievers and closers, which it's not uncommon, but it's certainly, like, it felt like a lot more than normal. And right before, probably not long before his trade would have happened, MLB announced that he was being put on the same paid leave as Luis Ortiz. Same allegations. Heavy bets on first pitch, ball versus strike. A lot of bets on ball, and his pitch just basically, in the dirt, way out, wild, almost like a wild pitch, that scenario. I feel like we've got 2 players, same MO, same team. Somebody else is pulling the strings in that. Got to be, right?
Oh, yeah. And it's not too far a stretch to think that these aren't the only 2.
The Guardians organization did say that the league told them that nobody else was under investigation at this time, as far as their organization is concerned.
As far as their organization, yes. At this time, their organization.
Right. Their organization.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see what happens with this, because like I said earlier, both of their lockers have now been cleaned out. And that doesn't happen if they think you're coming back.
No.
They don't just clean players' lockers out. You'd be on the 60-day IL. Your locker's still there when you get back.
No. That can go from the IL to permanent ban real quick.
It's and people blame the frequency of sports betting and how close it's gotten to the game and professional sports in general. And I disagree.
I do too.
Because gambling has been around sports for over 100 years. Gambling was illegal in most areas. Sports betting was illegal in most areas when Pete Rose was betting on baseball games.
And basketball.
It was legal. And basketball. And like it was outside of Vegas and Atlantic City, sports betting was pretty illegal at that point. And guess what? It was still happening. It's not the betting, it's the players. And with Ortiz, like a smaller player, like we saw that one that was in basketball that got banned permanently. That was a guy that was like, just a guy. Was, placeholder, bench warmer, DNP type of guy. And then with Luis Ortiz, a decent reliever, but not somebody that you're expecting to have, a 20-year career, 15-year career, even a 10-year career. He was, an above average guy. Clase was one of the hottest closers in the game. One of the hottest closers in the game. He was approaching a very nice deal after his rookie deal because of his success. And with some of the teams that were looking at him, like the Dodgers, realistically, probably the Yankees, since they got Duvall, they were looking at Clase. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to make a bag. Why are you risking a couple of payments of $1 million or so over probably $50 to $100 million. Minimum over that deal.
Yeah.
That's the math ain't mathing, man. I don't understand it.
Nope. It's not sad. It's just stupid.
It is. It's like it's one of the reasons why I didn't like. Well, I wanted to see Pete recognized for his accomplishments on the field. I did not have an objection for him facing punishment for what he did. There's no reason for it except greed, which that was a consistent throughout his career. The number of times he got in trouble for doing things that were greedy. Bringing $1 million in cash back from Japan because he didn't want to pay the U.S. taxes and getting caught. Not once, but what? It was twice? 3 times that happened with Rose? Like, it was just greed. But
how about his limited edition, very rare signed game worn jerseys that he would slip out of every half inning? Sign them off to collectors.
Exactly. Greed. Pure greed. But with guys like, and he was on a coach's salary at that point, and players didn't make as much back then. So there's to a point like he shouldn't have done it, but like I can more understand versus somebody like Clase that still has an entire career ahead of him, still has a bunch of money coming in just off of his game checks, not counting the huge amount of endorsements that he was working his way into. Especially if he ends up with a team like Cleveland or the Dodgers or the Giants or Boston or somebody like that. Not that I thought Boston was kicking the tires on, because I know they weren't, because when you have Aroldis Chapman, you don't need Clase. But that level of team where you're going to get paid and then you're going to get paid.
Yeah, 5 or 6 year contract for roughly $400 million, maybe more.
Like, if I had the chance to make Anna Kendrick my wife, why am I going to go out on a date with Fran Drescher and ruin my chances? Sure, she's famous. There's a little bit in it. But Anna's the end goal. That's what we're fighting for. But I'm going to ruin it over Fran Drescher? No disrespect to Fran. Talented woman. But like, you get my point, right?
Oh, yeah. I
don't get it.
I'm red-blooded American. Of course I get it.
And how does Clase not have an interpreter to take the fall? He's young and smart enough to have seen what happened with Shohei. He should have known. Luis Ortiz, he definitely should have known.
He should have hired.
You've got an interpreter that works for you.
I got an interpreter for him. He should have hired Sammy Sosa. Win-win.
I don't know. It's hard because you can't rely on Sammy. He keeps getting all that plastic surgery. You don't know if he's going to make it to all the games. Like, I mean, I think he's a couple injections away from being almost as white as Michael Jackson was at this point. Like, his skin color just keeps getting lighter. It's like the printer's running out of ink or something. I'm going to hell for that joke, but I don't care. But no, like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Why risk that much?
Because it was quick money and they didn't think they'd get caught.
Man, maybe I was just raised different, but like, if I realized when I got out of the grocery store that I forgot to pay for something, I go back in and pay for it. Because I don't want to worry the next time I walk in that I'm going to get tackled by security. And also, the security at the grocery store around the corner from my house, those dudes are big. I don't want them to tackle me. Like, I will not survive the altercation. Those guys are just going to floor me. I don't get it, man. These guys are in a place that less than 1% of all athletes can make it to, and that's the professional.
Yep.
And you're going to fuck it up over a quick payday. I just don't get it, man.
They won't be the last.
These kids have to learn. You can't be stupid. Either that or get an interpreter. Sorry, white guys, you just can't do it. Unless you pretend that you only speak, I don't know, French. You need a French interpreter. You just gotta pretend that you only speak French. And hope for the best. At this point. I don't know. That's a pretty white language, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe you just act like you have such a thick Irish or Scottish brew that somebody has to be there to interpret it for you because nobody else is going to understand it. I think maybe that would work too. I don't know. Crap.
If Ozzy was still alive, he could be an interpreter.
Man, you need an interpreter for Ozzy, though. Like, you would have to have an interpreter for the interpreter at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's realistically the only person who can reliably interpret what Ozzy was saying is Sharon.
Yeah.
So you have to pay Sharon and you have to pay Ozzy. And nobody's going to go after them anyway. So, I mean, that's probably the better choice. But it's still going to cost you more.
Just don't do it.
Oh, man. Just don't do it. Like, there's no point. It's going to cost you more. Because especially, like, if it's a lot, it's point shaving. That's a federal crime. That's larceny. And you're looking at jail time. Like, point shaving, like, that is a federal crime. And I think people forget that. That's big boy jail.
Yep.
Leavenworth, Kansas, small town, not a lot to it. You know what there is in Leavenworth, Kansas? The worst prison in the United States that's not surrounded by alligators. Sorry, gotta throw that caveat out there right now, thanks to asshole. But you don't want to go to Leavenworth. That place sucks. Not just the city. The prison sucks too. Like, a lot worse than the city, which also sucks. I've been there. It sucks.
I've been to San Quentin. That wasn't much fun either. I was there. Let me clarify. Picking up a patient to take the seat in medical center. But yeah, it was not much fun.
I was gonna say. I know you had a bad boy streak, Craig. What were you doing in San Quentin?
Yeah, just my own business, picking a patient up. That's all.
I was just, man, crazy. But all right, man. We are at our hour. Any final thoughts tonight?
I'm excited to watch this umpire. I will watch that game. I'm sure it will be on Sunday. I bet you it will be.
Yeah, Marlins Braves. It'll be on Sunday. Let me see what time that game starts. Hold on, let's look. Let's see. Marlins Braves, 12:35 Central. So that's 1:35 p.m. Eastern. That is in Atlanta. Expected pitching matchup is Cal Quantrill for the Marlins against Joey Wentz for the Braves. So shouldn't be too bad of a matchup. Those are both decent pitchers.
So without the umpire, that game's unwatchable. Pretty much, it's like,
yeah,
it's a starting pitching of who versus who. I mean, no one's going to care about the pitchers.
Honestly, like I said, they're not bad pitchers. Just nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. I would assume, because when I look at this, I don't see where any network has picked it up yet. If you have an MLB TV subscription, you'll be able to see it. But I would assume somebody's going to pick that up before then. Has to.
Absolutely.
That gets announced tomorrow, the next day. Even if it's just MLB Network that runs it, somebody's going to pick that up. But I would think ESPN might grab that because not quite into football season yet.
True.
So there's not quite as much to do on a Sunday afternoon yet. So I could see ESPN grabbing that just for that alone. But because it's the Braves, or because it's the Marlins and the Braves, maybe that's more likely to be an MLB Network. But we'll see. I don't know. I know I'm going to watch it.
Me too.
It'll be good to watch. By the way, for those of you...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
She can't do anything worse than the previous umpires we've mentioned ad nauseum.
Oh, yeah. If come on, you think somebody's going to need to be detailed in what they're looking at? I'm pretty sure it'd be a woman. They're pretty good at that shit. So I think she's probably end up being one of the higher ranked umpires. Especially when you're picking apart what somebody did wrong. I mean, that's just right up. That's right up there.
Oh my God.
Come on. Last one, I promise.
Lady fans out there, please direct your letters and comments to.
Yes, send me lots of angry comments. It absolutely does nothing for me. Don't send me all the negative comments, please. Anyway, if I see anybody picked it up nationally, I will post on the Wire to Wire page. I will post on the podcast name Deferred page, and keep everybody updated. I'm going to start the Morning Bandits back up tomorrow. I've had a lot. We're changing new systems at work this week. It's just been chaos, but I'll have time in the morning. Probably because I'm going to record it tonight. But I will have those going again starting tomorrow, and inching closer to the playoffs, man. It gets closer every day. I can't wait.
Yep. And Erica, we missed you.
Erica should be back with us next week. She's been taking care of some stuff in her personal life. She might actually be with me next week. I don't know. There's been some conversations about that, but she's got to get some personal stuff taken care of. She's a good mom, good friend, good worker.
Yep.
And
badass.
Definitely a badass. So Erica, we do miss you. We'll see you hopefully next week. And for those of you watching, those of you listening through our many online platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Wait, no, not at Google Podcasts. That's nothing. iHeartRadio, things of that nature. Thank you. We appreciate your support. Definitely check out all of the programs that Wire to Wire has to offer across all sports. Every day, there is at least a couple of shows a day covering multiple different sports and all of that, from wrestling through baseball, football, basketball, not just men's, but also we're big on talking about the WNBA too. We support women's sports. Please stop throwing dildos on the WNBA courts. You might hurt Sophie Cunningham, and the only thing you should be hurting because of Sophie Cunningham is my wrist, but that's a different thing.
Why are they green?
Please,
I can't figure that one out. Why are they green?
That's like the easiest thing to Photoshop out. I don't know why
you glow in the dark or what.
I didn't check. But my question with that whole thing is how are they getting them in the venue? Your bags are searched.
Yeah. Where are you putting those?
Hopefully they're handling those with gloves when they pick them up off the court. That's my only thing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just look for the people that are just kind of walking like this and not really taking big steps. Maybe give them an extra pat down. Offer them some Taco Bell.
Oh God.
If they're walking like that, breathing like that, and they won't take any Taco Bell, chances are they need to be checked a little more thoroughly. I'm just saying. But thank you for all of you watching, listening. We appreciate you. We will be back next week, hopefully with Erica. Like I said, please check out all of the programs that Wide Wire Sports has to offer. We're going to close out a little video, little taste of what you can get here at Wide Wire Sports Network. We appreciate you. Have a good night.